so in this one, we are going to be doing my top 10 list, technically a top 13 list here. After the release of Ultra Turles, the end of the movie saga campaign is now, upon us. We have now wrapped up, everything's done. We just got Super Saiyan Goku from Majin Buu Saga. Probably preluding to Daima stuff, because it takes place right after Majin Buu Saga, so they would imply it's going to be part of the episode Saga, Majin Buu Saga, right? But we will see when that arrives in just, less than 10 days Daima stuff drops, I'm pretty sure, the 11th, if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, I do have this list here. If it's not obvious, this is absolutely based off my opinion. I'm pretty sure every singular, I'm going to look at this list here on the side, every singular unit on this list besides one, and that unit is now 12 stars in Baby, nope, two units here are not 14 stars. Every singular of the units 14 stars. Last season, if this matters to you, I don't think this matters at all, but just to mention, I ranked, top 20, so I played quite a bit of PvP. I think that's all that matters. I played a lot, so I have a lot of experience with these units, so that is my viewpoint of what we're looking at here. Mostly 14 stars on my own setting, and obviously playing against people with pretty high stars in a lot of matches in the higher ranks. But nonetheless, we're going to get into this here. I'll explain the higher-ups the more I need to, the more details, and obviously Ultra Turles will be somewhere on this list. As you can see him placed, it is very nice that we went from Broly, who was not the most ideal unit. A lot of people didn't even rate Broly that high, if they even put him top 10, to now we have Turles at the end of this campaign. From the beginning to end, we've actually had an impact unit in it being a new unit of Turles. Like Turles' impact compared to what Broly was attempting to do, or Triku was doing, his impact was not as high. Turles has the highest impact of any of these movie units that have released, LFs or Ultras. So, with that being said, we will touch on all mentions here. The first three units being Golden Frieza, do have Mr. Cacao here, if I can move him here. And then we do have, I gotta move this real quickly. Hold on, excuse me, pardon me. We do have Mr. Evil. Oh, wait. Nope, that's not Evil Boo. That's the wrong placement. Ultra Broly. Can you go? Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Ultra Broly. I'll touch on these units. This is in order, so it would be, I guess, Golden 13, Cacao 12, Broly 11. Golden, all these units, I would say, if I'm looking at it below probably the top 8, yeah, probably below top 8, are going to be substitute options, so if you don't have them, or you don't have the main unit, well, here's your alternate. Golden Frieza hits that mold. Garlic Jr. is here, and you will see Garlic Jr. is above. Just doing a better job. Golden is an okay unit. I don't think his damage is anything otherworldly. I think his defense is very bad. But if you do run, as I used in the video yesterday, Turles and Golden together, that is a nice harmony. There is a lot of safety in that with the comebacks, the free damage, all the niceties there. But Golden is nothing too crazy. If you're going to use him, you have to Zenkai buff him. You have to probably, if you want to see real Golden, you got to 2x him, which isn't the most opportune thing. Like, yeah, Ultra Broly, Golden, and Turles is a good team, but there's just better that exists. And that's going to be a lot of the points that I make here. These are solid units, but there's just better teams for this other unit that exists that's also just better off. So Golden's okay, nothing crazy. I've seen him be, told top 10. I don't think so. I also just mentioned Ultra Gohan in this segment here of another lower Ultra. Ultra Gohan, no, I don't think it at all. I think Evil Boo, matter of fact, I think God Goku does a better job against Turles and his entire team, because a lot of teams, you have purple with Turles, right? You have Broly, you have Golden, you have Garlic, you have UG4, you have Ulton. That's a lot of purples. And a lot of people are running Turles with the purple. I think God Goku's consistent neutral, and his accessibility to, I would say, easier damage with his peak potential. I mean, it's not that difficult, though his teams are subpar. So are Gohan's. I just think he's actually better than even Ultra Gohan. That's how low I think of Ultra Gohan. I do not think he's anything at all. His best team has a lot of defense, the ability, he doesn't get any damage, and it's just, I mean, I'll be honest, he's probably the first one dead between Triku, Ulton, and himself. Even if there's, Turles just stomping through, I'm probably sacking off Ultra Gohan. I don't know what he's going to do. That bro does not do much in my eyes. Maybe I'll see him next week when I use him for a long video, and he'll have potential, but right now, yeah, I don't think he ain't much. But number 12 here being Mr. Cacao. I think Cacao is a solid option. There's an immortal team you can run with Garlic, Cacao, and Turles, and that's just, if you want to be a, dick of a person, you can just run that. and have timer match on timer match and timer match and just rush and just get your rush guaranteed to pop off because you're going to spawn 97 green cards and they won't guess all 97 green cards, or you'll trick them by like, oh, I have 97 green, so I pick this blast card on my rush, and you'll just be immortal. And that team is very strong in its own merit, but it's more of like, okay, again, a dickhead team. It's not really going to be the most meta thing. It's just, it exists, it's strong, it does its job, but it's just a dickhead team, right? And that's the only team you can run on there. And Ultra Broly, you know, I like this unit. I think individually he is top 10, but again, with tier lists, you're going to look at full teams and full individuality and merge those together. That's how you always make a top 10 list in this game. And Broly, while he has good individuality to be a top 10 unit, I think he could stomp through any unit in this game right now. Any singular unit that is in this list above him, I think he can just decimate. It's not very difficult. It's very simple for him. But the issue comes with his team. Again, his best team probably is alongside maybe LF Broly, Turles, and Golden, or I don't even know at this point. I guess you could say again that Purple Blue with Broly, Golden, and Turles, but then Triku exists, and I'm rating Triku much better off now, which we'll get into the details of why. It's very obvious Turles, but again, details soon. But Broly just suffers from team. People don't run him. It's the same thing as Baby. Baby's going to be on this list, but he's going to be lower because these are just hard units to face. You know, I'm not going to face Ultra Broly as common. I'm going to face UG4. So it's just not going to be something you can have a high opinion of because you're not facing it. I'm barely using it, and I'm one of the few that can actually run it. So it's tough for Broly. I think he's a good unit, but if people aren't going to use him, you know, he can't be that high value. Like, I need to run into him more to see a higher presence of him and feel more, I guess, power against him or power for him. It just isn't there fully. Again, his team is the holdback for him there. Number 10, though, the actual top 10, is going to be Mr. Evil Boo. Yes, I know Evil Boo has been a little bit of a joke for me here because he was rated very highly on Garech's list, and I just thought that was a bit silly. But now, it makes sense. Evil Boo will be top 10 for me. Just simple common knowledge how this game works is blue is weak to green. Guess what color Evil Boo is? Correct, green. Majin Buu Saga, well, I don't think it is a top 3 team, not even close to it, maybe barely top 5 if we're going to be nice. It is a team that has a lot of situational play to go to timers. You know, I did the long video on Turles before season ended, and it was good against good teams for the most part. Majin Buu Saga was there a couple of times, and I didn't lose those matches. You know, they went in my favor, but those matches were usually timer matches. You know, you got Majin Buu Saga with Evil Boo, and it's just Majin Buu Saga for Evil Boo, by the way. He has no other team. Ultan and Kid Buu, obviously that's the trio there. That's his home. It does fine, but then you got Triku who can kind of screw over everybody. Triku's HP restored debuff is very strong. You know, you could run double blues right now. I think you're perfectly fine. You run Kid Buu, Turles, Triku. I ran the team, did perfectly fine, won every match, 30 matches I think it was, and it was awesome. The reason it works, if you're up against Omega Shenron, Ultra Gohan, Evil Boo, whoever, nobody's immune to the health store debuff. At least those green units aren't immune. So you keep dwindling them down with, you know, Turles blue cards that are neutral, or Triku health store debuff and Turles health store debuff on the entire team. Eventually those greens just fall and fall and fall. And eventually, Evil Boo, Ultan, Kid Buu, who's gonna die first? It's gonna be Evil Boo. Despite me having 2 blues, it's just going to be Evil Boo. You're not sacking off Kid Buu. You're not sacking off Ultan. And if you do, you're just kind of shooting yourself in the foot. You're really throwing away much better units just because I have a slim chance of advantage. And even then, Turles gets comeback pop. He's full defense neutral the entire game. It doesn't even matter at that point. Evil Boo, he is good against Turles and his team, but there's no real other team in the game right now I think is where he's doing a great job. He's just doing good. That's about it. That's literally all his glaze. He's good against Turles, and Turles is going to be very high in this list. That's all I got for you. He's here. He barely makes it. If you want to swap Broly with Evil Boo, I got no problems with that. Shit, I could see Broly up to top 8 at this point. Again, his team is the hindrance. But nonetheless, Evil Boo does make it here for me at number 10. Number 9, oh, I gotta move this again. That's great. Is going to be Mr. L Baby. Yes, sir. Again, Baby strikes the same chord for me as Ultra Broly, where we go in a situation that, hey, this unit is rare to find at his optimal or opportune even setting here. Ultra Broly, very rare to find with a high star, with his better teams. Baby, It's not the hardest to find GT, because GT was running around, I would say, a good bit prior to Turles, but it's very hard to find a high star, very good GT team here with Baby on it, just because his banner release date, Super 17 existed, people weren't going to summon, he's a yellow, Super 17 dropped, he's a red god, like, it wouldn't make sense to summon Super Baby 2 at that point. His return banner, I think, happened recently, but again, I don't even know, what banner was he on? Was he on, like, part 1 Annie? Pre-Annie? He was recent, but again, I don't even think people summoned on whatever that was, at least too much so. So having him high stars is not a thing that you see often, but if I'm going to hold still the same opinion, I still agree with myself what I said last time. Baby, if there's a best sniper to UG4, it's going to be Baby. You get the gauge, they do some cards against you, they can't stop you from getting your gauge. Like, that's not a thing that exists, right? That's not, like, mathematically a thing. So you get your gauge, you land one combo on UG4 once that main ability is able to be active, and guess what? UG4 is dead. That's just how it works. I think that value's still there. GT's a very safe team with the rush safety of Baby lowering sub count, Omega lowering sub count, so Omega will always take the rush. Again, we kind of also help Baby a little bit here, because look at the reds. Do you see many reds going on here? No, right? So Baby actually still has stock because those reds aren't really very frugal right now, because the blues are such gods in the game. SV, Turles, Kid Buu. So Baby's in a fine spot. He's, again, this below top 8 thing, or top 8 and below. Is nothing of crazy god units, but they are just doing their role well. Baby wants to snipe UG4, well, he does that role well. Baby wants to have safety on a team, well, he has that role well. Evil Buu wants to be good against Turles, well, he does that role well. That's about the extent of these units that are below top 8. Anything above is hitting like this, that, and I'll go into detail, but these few here, they have a role, they do their role. I got nothing against them at that point. They do exactly what they're intended to, and you know what? That's good enough for me to put them in their spots. A lot of units do not do that. Like, let's say GB. GB does not do his role of, I want to damage. I'll be honest with you, GB, especially now against Turles, Jesus Christ, but GB in general was never really the greatest damage god. So what's better off? Sniping a UG4 potentially in a lot of sequences with a good star Baby, though he's rare, potentially still being a thing, or GB just wanting to do normal-ass damage and just doing normal-ass damage. I think the snipe potential is much more frugal, especially with the sub-count manipulation that BB can offer, and even the support against Saiyans, because, well, another Saiyan has joined the fray, right, in Mr. Turles. But number 8 is going to be Mr. Garlic Jr. Yeah, I think this is pretty obvious. People were going to start putting Garlic higher and higher and higher and higher, and now that Turles is blue, Garlic is very good with him. If you want to run, you could run anything. Garlic, you could, technically have to build him strike based on his, equipment and stuff, but you don't. Like, you have to, quote unquote, you don't have to. Garlic wants strike stuff. I don't give a damn what Garlic wants. Garlic is getting defense. He's getting triple defense pure, and HP restore, and I don't give a shit if he likes it or hates it. I don't give a shit if the team's blast based or strike based. That's what he's getting. That's what his role is. He is a tank. If I can compare Turles to anything, which again, we'll touch on him when we get there, because he's, again, going to be very high up. He is nowhere close to this area of the list. Turles is an offensive Garlic. Garlic and Turles tank, I would say, about equivalent. Had them both 14 stars, so I have seen it. And it's very, very strong, that duo in its own, but more so than that, Garlic is just kind of unit you can throw on anywhere. If I were to throw Garlic with, let's say, Triku, Turles, Garlic, there's no real hindrance there, right? If I were to throw Garlic instead of Evil Buu on Majin Buu Saga, am I really hindering myself to a high extent? No, maybe it's not ideal, because Evil Buu technically would probably be better on that team, but it's not really a hindrance anywhere in just a whole scheme. It's not like he's dying to yellow, so he has such high neutral defensively, and the only real problem Garlic faces is, I would say, Triku. Again, units that HP restore debuff are very, very, very strong. Almost everybody, I think Kid Buu is like partially immune, if not fully immune, but almost everybody on this list is able to be HP restore debuffed. And you know how units are living in this meta right now? Most units. There's like 2 exceptions with Garlic and Turles, and Garlic is barely even an exception, mostly Turles. They are living because they sustain, not because they tank, right? So if you have a unit that HP restore debuff thing, as frugal as Triku is, well, guess what? You're going to see a situation where the D value of Gohan exists, the D value of Garlic existed, the value of this, that, and the others just starts to exist more and more and more, because that one unit is very free. There's very low reds in the meta. Yes, exactly, Triku's value is high, so while Garlic is doing his job well, there is still units that are good against him. You know, you still have the situation where if you're not running subcap manipulators or something like that, SV can just rush him and kill him. I'm not going to say it's 100% going to kill every time, because Garlic has usually 4 million health. At 14 stars, he could get much higher, but 4.1, 4, 3.9, he's hovering around, and SV can just rush kill him. That's the thing that exists still. UG4, he definitely cannot one-shot a Garlic. I mean, raw UG4 ult does not. I've seen it, I've done it, it doesn't. It's not even close. HP restore debuff, can't even speak, is very good against Garlic in that, because UG4 does HP restore debuff on the current enemy when he clicks the ult. Not when he lands it, when he clicks the ult. So that's strong, but that's only a few moves. Garlic is still very high potential. He's a good leader slot unit. He actually does technically want to be leader slot for his nullify normal conditions. I think it's like 2 or 3, so he could screw over the HP restore debuff a little bit, but just keep reprocking it won't matter, right? But I still think he has good potential. Again, anybody 8 and below, I think, is just a substitute. There's better that exists, but Garlic is not a bad option. If you pulled for Garlic, you know, you didn't go out with a with an L. Top 8 unit, 1% unit, very nice to see. I mean, look at this. There's 3 1% units in this top 13 just right here. But we will get to number 7, and number 7 people will not like, and I'm all right with that, because I'm happy it's number 7. Mr. Vegito. Yeah, I know. Vegito was, what was Vegito? I think Vegito was 4 last time. I had Kid Buu above him, so I had Ulton, G4 tied, then I had Kid Buu, then I had Vegito there, then I had Omega after that. Vegito is 7 because another rush deterrent unit has arrived. Turles, listen, I fight Vegitos and I say, please rush me. I want them to use their ultimates, their rushes. I want them to pop every singular ability to pop my Turles, because I want him to come back. So with that, I wouldn't say this is helping Vegito, because Turles gets stronger. Let's say Vegito rushes Turles, right? First life pop. And let's say you just swapped out and you just did a swap out into rush. So now your sub counter's screwed, right? You only have one other character alive. I only have one character. It's 2v2. Guess what happens after that? Turles just murders you. You can't swap. The sub counts don't go down. You just get murdered by Turles at that point. And I think that's a very common thing that could happen because, well, it's not hard to kill a character off. You also have a rush in your own hands. So you rush their character. Guess what? Okay, maybe they have Omega, SV, UG40. Pop first life, boom, you rush Omega dead. Great, lovely. They're going to sag off Omega first. Doesn't even matter if you have double blues. They're always going to sag off Omega first. That's just what people do. Then they rush you. All right, cool. 3v2, 2v2, boom. Turles comes in. Well, guess what? Things are not going well for Mr. Vegito. At that point, post the comeback. While he is still a good unit, he is, on top of being a good unit, liking to do the rush move. So now I got Baby with Subcal Manip with Omega Shenron. I got Evil Buu that doesn't let me rush the allies on his team. I got Golden Frieza here. I got Omega Shenron. I got Turles. I got Ulton. I got a lot of units. I really can't rush their team or rush them because this mechanic or that mechanic. They have done a very strong job at hurting Vegito. You know, I guess Vegito Blue just naturally fell down because he's just a damage guy, and that's just how that goes. Vegito's mechanic, he's the same damage guy, it's just his mechanic is a lot better, right? And that's just being deterred every singular unit that drops. Like, I guess Garlic didn't deter it, but then you have Garlic with Turles, and guess what? That's gonna hurt the mechanic, right? But he's not bad. You know, being, again, 8 and below are sub options. Vegito is still a core option on a few teams. I don't think his team's particularly great. You know, I ran into blue, purple, Ulton, UG4, Vegito. I think people ran for a decent bit. And I ran into it, and I would kind of just laugh at it. Vegito wasn't really hurting Turles. I mean, yeah, they can do their rush, but again, I want you to waste every ability in the game to pop Turles' comeback. I want you to be wasting these abilities. You clearly don't want to, but you're not going to damage Turles. Turles does not die easily. Turles heals a lot. He has good sustain. And again, he's an offense Garlic. Garlic tanks and can't sustain, but Turles does damage while doing all of that. So when you have a unit like that, you have to rush him. You just have to rush Turles a lot of the games that you're going to be in, especially a high star Turles. Hello, minus 14 stars. That's why I said in this list, most of my units are 14 stars. So it makes a difference if you're fighting a low star to high star Turles is they ain't dying quick. They almost never die. I've never really seen a Turles, if I'm not misremembering. My own Turles has not really died to normal cards more than maybe 5 matches. And if they do die to a card, it's going to be an ultimate. Or if they die, it's going to be a rush usually. It's usually a rush or ultimate. Nothing else. And you want to waste a full ultimate? You want to waste UG4 ult, Ulton ult, SV rush, any of those on Turles in the first life? Puh! I got no qualms. I am happy for you to do all that. And that's exactly the point. SV's value is rushing Turles now. Okay, well guess what? Marriage is making Turles better, and now you don't have a rush. Like, I literally had a match where SV double rushed me, and they still lost the damage on timers. Like, I got 1 rush, they did 2. You know what I mean? It's a bit silly how good Turles is, and how he kind of hurts SV's placement, but that's just where I see it is. And on top of, let's just kind of point this out as the obvious thing, Omega Shenron, Evil Boo, those are 2 units that are going to be top 10 here. Well, there's a new blue. We need the greens to kind of, be talked about more. So SV gets hurt by those greens getting more discussion, maybe getting more higher placement. Evil Boo was not here last time, now he is. That's going to hurt Vegito as well. He is still a blue unit. So that on top of Turles just being what he is hurting Vegito. There's greens, because this blue is so good, we got to talk about greens. We just have to. And Vegito goes down for all those reasons there. Maybe 7's a bit harsh, maybe, but these units above him, I do not think go any lower, so I don't know where I'd move him at that point. He's just stuck there. Number 6, people will be happy about this, because it is Triku. For one, very surprised I got him to the stars. I got him again. I mentioned this. I was chasing Cacao very, very difficultly. 10 stars, 11 stars. Just trying to get a few copies, 14 star because I got so lucky on Turles Banner. End up pulling Triku to 14 stars unintentionally. Literally, I couldn't try if I wanted to pull him as many times as I did. I pulled him like 7, 8 times. It was ridiculous. And yeah, him with Turles is the best duo in the game. Like, I don't think it's even disputable. I just think that's the best duo in the game. That just is perfect. Like, if you were to say Triku is like number 4 peak, I wouldn't argue with you. I'm going to keep him 6. But if you were to say he were higher, again, I wouldn't argue with you. 4 being the peak. I think he does his job very well. You're running with Turles. Again, that health store debuff thing, and there's more to it, but the health store debuff thing. Turles health store debuffs everybody, and it's like 10-15%, right? Triku health store debuffs the current opponent. So with those 2 both doing it, and they both have very long combos because Turles spawns a green, Triku could get green cards, they're both going to get very long combos. No one's really healing at that point. So if you're going to run into a green that would hurt Turles, again, there's no reds, so you don't have to run into the reds that would hurt Goku. At least there's barely any reds. Motherfucking Cacao. If you were to run into a green that would hurt Turles, well, you have those HP restore deals going and going, and progressively, not as fast as you'd like it to be, maybe, but progressively, you are getting that green unit down. They're not healing, they're just taking, and eventually, they're gonna die. You throw that rush out on them, people are gonna sag off Evil Boo first. I mentioned this. Omega Shenron, he's meant to take the rush. Boom, indestructible is pop. You land one more combo, boom. Omega Shenron, washed, dead, cleared. And once again, Triku is free. There is no goddamn red stopping him. He is just here, existent, free as God, doing whatever the hell he wants, being a very good color synergy with Turles. He has the Dragon Ball reduction on his gauges there. Turles is Dragon Ball reducing on his own cards. So you have a lot of deterrence of Dragon Balls and Rising Rush, which again hurts Vegito. Vegito really being hurt. He doesn't get his own destroyed, but you think Vegito's going to take the cards of Triku and Turles? No, they're swapping to Omega. They're swapping to UG4. They're swapping to everybody else to scale out that damage to not get his one unit murdered. So those units can get the Dragon Balls reduced. That hurts Vegito, right? Triku, though, I don't ever really see him in the spot where he does get an ally dead, which I did mention is a problem. The neutral thing really isn't a problem anymore, as again, there is no goddamn reds running around. So yeah, I guess those flaws don't really need to be talked about because they're not prominent. Like, they were more prominent. They were an issue more when this god Turles wasn't existent. But guess what? They made Turles. They made Turles made for Triku. Actually, more equal, but, like, still, he's made for Triku. Obviously, it's very easy on the kit reading. You could see. And they've done a great job with letting me respect him. Again, I thought this unit was just a joke. I mean, I'm not even that high on him. I just understand that, like, yeah, this is what they need to do. Like, they need to run together if you're going to run, like, the best duo in the game. I don't think there's much that has changed in my opinion. It's just, yes, this blue pairs with this yellow. Guess what? There's no red, so where's this yellow going? He going to the goddamn moon. And, well, he's at the moon at this point. Again, if you put him 4, I would not debate you. That would be the highest. Once again, I need to restate. But, yeah, this guy is super valuable right now. Will it fall off? I'm sure. If a red drops, yes, he's going to get hurt a lot. And he probably goes down below Vegito pretty fast. Probably stays above Baby, but below Vegito pretty fast there. But for now, yeah, that value is very, very high for Mr. Tree Man. I'm glad. I didn't want to dislike him. I did dislike him. Now I like him. Redemption arc for Mr. Tree. For Mr. Me, it's great. Take a sip of water here, and then we will touch on the top 5, which is actually tied 4-5, and this is going to be an interesting one. All right. So, 4-5. Who do I got? I got Omega Shenron and Kid Buu. Yeah. So, again, you could swap these if they're in the same thing. Obviously, that, indicates they're swappable. If you want to say Omega above Kid Buu or Kid Buu above Omega, you do your thing. I don't particularly care which one is above either. I just think Kid Buu is above Omega Shenron. But Kid Buu, again, I use this team. You're going to see Turles here. He's top 3, bare minimum, of Kid Buu, Triku, and Turles. And what I saw was, if there were a green, I was not worried enough to where my double blue would be, hurt. Again, Triku is that off color. He does his role well. I mentioned H4 debuff thing, and that hurts a lot of the green units, right? Omega Shenron, Evil Buu. And that's why I would say Kid Buu is fine right now, because you can literally run double blue. I am not scared to run double blue. There is no unit in the game that scares me right now that says double blue is not good. None. Kid Buu, Turles, I think is a perfect synergy. They have a lot of green cards. You also have Kid Buu that could just stall very long as well. The main purpose of that team, though, is Kid Buu, Zenkai buffs Turles. So what you do is you bench Namek Goku or LFDBS Broly. Boom, Turles is 2x. You bench LF Bardock. Goku has a Zenkai buff. And Kid Buu is already Zenkai buffing himself and Turles. Do you see how that really amplifies Turles? You get to run a 2x Turles with a really good unit. And that good unit is not really deterring you in any sense. I think Kid Buu is doing his own job perfectly fine. He doesn't need to be here, sure. But I don't think you also need to have, Vegito. I don't think you also need to have Garlic. Shit, I don't even think you need to have Ulton in matches right now. But they're still very good units, right? I think the necessity of units is much more Triku and Turles. Maybe Omega Shenron touches that, but he's not fully there for me. Again, I do not fear Omega Shenron. I was fighting good Star ones. I was fighting everything I could. Kid Buu does have some neutral. Just like Turles, it's very restrictive. Kid Buu sidesteps. He has 3 counts neutral. And that's fine. You could get some spam blast out and get some damage on the green unit. But again, you just have Triku right there. You have the Rising Rush button. People use Omega as the rush shield. They're not going to sack off their SV on my first rush, right? That doesn't make any sense. They're going to sack off Omega's first life. Guess what? That green is almost dead now. Guess what? I kill that green, I win the match. Guess what? His first life just died. I can just kill him with one new combo of Triku, and then things go my way. Everything is perfect. It's not difficult, I feel. And I think Kid Buu helps in that because the glazing he allows for Turles on the 2x setup, and even more so than that, Kid Buu is not a bad unit. Kid Buu is a great damage dealer. If you're fighting a Triku, I guess you could say, hey, let's just waste Kid Buu's ultimate. Let's get that Triku ult debuff out of the way. Slip slap, get it gone. And that's a fine thing to also put him on as well. And more so than that, the sustain. I mentioned the green cards of Triku and Turles. Kid Buu is no different. Kid Buu, infinite heals. Turles, infinite heals. Cardinal speed debuffing, subcount manipulation when he's getting hit, allowing Turles to come back in to take the rush if your subcounts are a little funky. Guess what? Kid Buu gets hit 3 times, Turles back in. I think it's just a very good synergy. But then I talk about Omega Shenron here, where you could also argue that, hey, you know what? Triku, Turles, Omega Shenron. What about that? I don't feel that's necessary. I don't think, because that's why I'm putting Kid Buu higher. In my own here, again, you could swap them. I don't care. But I don't think you need Indestructible and Comeback. I just don't think you need that in a match. I have never really had an experience yet where I'm like, oh man, I wish I had double safety here. Not a singular time. If I did, I'd have Omega Shenron above. But not a singular time using Turles for as long as I did. before season ended, and even now with new season being out, obviously it's a little bit more, with the matchups. But I've never had a sequence where I feel like I need this double life kind of situation I could have of Omega and Turles. Sure, it's good. Sure, it's fine. But I don't feel like I need it. You want to feel like you need it? Okay, have him number 4. You want to feel like you don't need it? Have him 5. You want to feel like he's lower? Have him lower. I wouldn't say Omega Shenron's lower. Though, again, I'm not against the idea if you were to say Triku is right there with those two. I'm on the boat. I'm just not the captain of that boat. I'm on the boat, though. I can understand the perspective of that. Number 3, though, is going to be... Oh boy, people won't like this one, but that's alright. People don't like when fusions are getting lowered and lowered and lowered, but, I mean, the game happens where units go down. UG4, yes, UG4 is number 3 in the entire game for me. You could literally watch it. I mean, I don't have better proof than the actual video itself. I was quite literally laughing at UG4s in the long video of Turles on the setup of the blue, yellow, because UG4 ultimates were not scaring me. UG4 normal strikes and blasts were not hurting my Turles very much. And again, Triku, I would say he's better counter to Ulton than UG4, but Triku still does very well against UG4. And then UG4's teams, once again, the dilemma kind of falls onto that. Let's say it's purple, blue. Okay, well, Triku exists, so I don't give a shit. Honestly, that's just a Triku solo team. Like, legitimately, he just solos that. But then, you look at, let's say, Omega Shenron, UG4, SV. Okay, let's talk about that. Maybe it's the better team. Who knows? They're both kind of equal in my eyes. It's just a bit more safe, right? That team, though, I just mentioned with the HP Restore debuff. Like, it's an Omega Shenron wannabe match, but Omega Shenron offensively is not enough to handle all 3 of those units. He just isn't. And remind you, Turles, once that situation pops of his comeback, he is defense neutral the entire game. So guess what? What's Omega Shenron doing there? He's just neutral, just like SV and UG4. And SV and UG4, their damage is kind of making my Turles laugh a little bit. I don't think there's much issue facing these teams with Turles and Triku as a duo. This is why I keep mentioning they are the best duo in the game. I think it's much more Turles in a lot of matches, but in one matchup, it would be Triku being that, better partner between the two for a lot of the situations going on. But still, UG4 is top 3. I still think he has potential. It's just when you face that duo, I don't think UG4 is really hindering it. Like, if you're facing a Turles with Triku, if you're not running Turles with Triku or Majin Buu Saga, you're probably losing without timers. And if you are running those two, of Turles and Triku or Majin Buu Saga, you're going to timer, and you're probably losing due to timer. Like, that team, that duo is just too good. I don't care who you have third. I don't care if you have Kid Buu, Omega Shenron, Rage, Super 17, Garlic, Evil. I don't care who's your third. That duo is just too strong. UG4 has to get impacted. And I guess I can mention Baby. Yeah, you could snipe out UG4. I don't give a shit if you can snipe out UG4. Sure, it exists. Sure, I could have value for Baby there. That's why he's even on the list. This is much more about Triku and Turles just kind of laughing at UG4's face. I've never had a sequence yet where UG4's damage has really shocked me. It's been so overwhelming, and Turles couldn't just soak that shit up. It just doesn't exist. And again, if UG4 ults Turles, I am happy about that. I want him to waste his ult on the unit that does a comeback and starts to murder after that. I don't care. And if I have my comeback when UG4 is last man standing, guess what? UG4, what do you do? What do? You get your gauge proc, it saves you one time, cool. Nice. Do you think Turles is going to die one combo? Do you think Triku is going to die one combo to UG4? It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't. Even last man stand, it just doesn't happen. Those overall arts damage are not high enough from UG4, which is why he would be hindered. Again, even the ultimate is nothing crazy as well. From my experience, UG4 is not hitting hard enough to break through Turles, and I can't see it. But number 2, as I keep mentioning this team over and over and over again, Majin Buu Saga. I don't know if it's Ulton's best team. Maybe it is. I really don't like the situation of Ulton, Triku, and Turles just because the Z abilities, bro. Double defense. I want damage. This is why we have Kid Buu. We have 2x Turles. I want damage. Triku, he has good Z abilities at that point. He'll do damage. I don't want this double defense every singular goddamn unit. I don't like that shit. I want to hit them. I want to beat their ass. And if I'm just going to double defense, I'm going to hinder myself. But Ultron being number 2 is because Majin Buu Saga does well against Turles. Turles is going to be number 1. You see it's open right there. It's because he's number 1. That is the best counter to Turles. That is not Turles. That's just how UG4 existed. The best counter UG4, guess what it was? UG4! It wasn't UGB, it wasn't baby. It was UG4. The same thing exists with Turles. So, you kind of look for that secondary option of Majin Buu Saga. Kid Buu, Evil Buu, Ultron is a very good team. Despite Triku existing, it's very good at sustaining. I think Turles' team is just a better situation of that, where it's sustain and better damage and better survivability, because it literally is better survivability. But Majin Buu Saga is not unknown to surviving in that matchup, which is probably the best team in the game of Turles, Triku, whatever third, against Majin Buu Saga. It's a timer match. That's how the game goes. Most of the games will go like that, just because you can't always manage the perfect colors. Evil Blue's going to come in a lot. While they'll sustain well, you can't just kind of get those rushes spammed out. Sure, with my team of Triku Turles, but it's not to say Ultron hits meekly. He hits pretty well on that team. Kid Buu does his own merit of his own goodness. If you have Omega Shenron, it hurts them, but again, I don't feel like you need Omega Shenron. I already went over that. But again, I think that's the best team against Turles, and if Turles is number 1, I need the best team against him. So Ultron kind of stands alone at that point, being above UG4 for me. And then number 1 is, as I mentioned, Ultra Turles. Again, I was worried about his stats. His offense stats are a bit subpar to what you look at on units just overall. Look at any Ultra. They have higher offense stats than Turles most likely, right? So that's kind of thing you a little bit, what's going to happen here? But, I mean, I guess I'll touch on all his details. Dragon Ball Destruction, 10% chance every time he does a Striker Blast that lands, I believe it is. Very strong. HP restore debuff to the entire team while attacking. Not just one unit, the entire team. That has very high longevity, very high value for himself with Triku, for just in general. HP restore debuff is king right now. If you are having that, you are having very good value. He has it right there. UG4 has it. Turles has it. Triku has it. Guess what? They're all in these unit positions that are, I need to run these units. These are the best units in the game. As I mentioned, Triku would be number 4 on this list if you want to. The more I talk about him, honestly, the higher I want to place him, but I'll keep him where he is for now. Humble him a little bit. But Turles, what more do we have to go through? Again, full defense neutral. He also has a neutral blue card. That's pretty important to mention. On Gauge, you do the blue card. It is neutral 3 timer counts, so you do that against Evil Buu, Omega Shenron. Boom! You're doing pretty good damage to them, kind of just dwindling them down. Yeah, it's a slowly but surely process to dwindle down these greens, but these greens are also units you're going to sack to rush Evil Buu, Omega Shenron. So if you were to rush with Triku and you're facing fusions with SV, UG4, Omega, they are sacking Omega. Guess what? Omega is the one that's supposed to kill Turles. If Omega just lost first life, Turles does a combo, or Triku does a combo, Omega Shenron's going to die. Guess who wins? Turles team wins at that point. It's just a good revolving door for Mr. Turles at this rate. We got more stuff going on. Easy access to cover and all. Double card draw speed every time he clicks a green card with his gauge. He'll have his gauge. Every 10 counts, he has 20% of his gauge back. He has very easy fulfillment of gauge because you can just use the other units because he's not the most offensive guy in the early game setting. No, so just use somebody else. Use Kid Buu, use Omega Shenron, use Triku, use somebody else. They'll do better damage than Turles, but that's okay. Turles, walls, almost everything. I haven't really seen a sequence where Turles hasn't tanked well. Maybe if he's, disadvantage, I guess, against like some Blast Omega cards. I maybe seen that once or twice, and he doesn't die. He just, instead of taking 70% from 2 Blast Omega cards, Turles will take like 45%. And that's like me saying, oh, he didn't tank that well. It doesn't. He'll just heal it. Turles green card heals a metric ounce ton going on there. There's just too much about him. He is a very overall unit, and they usually mess these up. I mean, I haven't really seen them succeed with overall units in the most recent setting. I guess Triku kind of fits that mold, but he's much more of a utility than a damage dealer, right? Look at Triku. You're not looking at damage. You're looking at utility with him. Turles, he does great damage in his post-comeback state, even pre-comeback. It's not bad. It's just not as much as you'd like to see, like a UVB on initial release or UG4 initial release. He's not doing that, but he's doing so much more. Again, Dragon Ball Destruction, HP debuff, the safety of Rising Rush, And again, his teams, he has so many. He's an even stat unit. So you can build him Blast Base, Strike Base. I've had more success with Blast Base builds. I think he does prefer Blast Base. This unit, just slap him with literally any unit in this list, you could slap him with Turles, and Turles will probably do the best on the team just as an overall utility and damage combined total. Like, literally anybody on this list, just leader Turles, boom, everything goes your way. I've not had an experience that's bad with Turles yet. This character is very strong. I don't think there's even like a debate, by the way, between 1 and 2. I think it's just Turles, and it's not even close to being old time. Not a gap, but pretty close to one. Turles is just, he's just him, bro. I mean, it's just how it is. Maybe he won't age the greatest. I don't think he'll age bad. He really is a glue unit on teams. I don't think he has any real mechanics that are bad, that are gonna, dwindle him fast, but I guess you could maybe say no full offense neutral, but then you look at some units here. I mean, Kid Boo's been in the top for, a few months now, and Kid Boo only has the same offense neutral as Turles. It's a little bit better, but it ain't much better. It's still 2 or 3 fucking counts. It's not much better, right? Arguably, you could say Turles is better in some sequences because, hey, blue card spawns. You never know with the RNG. Even Vegito, look where he is. He's still top 10. This guy's been out for months, and guess what? His neutral is 3 counts. Same exact thing. And that would be my only dilemma. He's not even that toxic. I mean, the remove vanish thing is, kind of a, ouch, but all right. I'd rather that than UG4D. Jesus Christ. I'd rather that than, whatever the hell is going on with, Vegito here. I'm perfectly fine with remove vanish. I'll be all right with remove vanish. It just sucks in a 1v1. They remove your vanish. Oh, well, I'll see you later. I'm going to hit that forfeit button because he can't do anything. Turles is just him in every singular regard. I can't name a real flaw, because even if I say his damage isn't that great early game, that's okay. I don't need his damage to be that great. I like his HP restore debuff. I like that overall longevity of it is going to kind of screw over damage he's missing anyways, because they're still debuffed HP. They're not gaining back as much as they want. So overall, they're still losing HP. They're not just getting it all back. He's still helping the team with that own damage setting. And he's just the greatest. It's not close. 1 to 2 is not close for me at all. But this is my top 10 / technically top 13 list here, with it being Ultra Turles number 1, Ulton number 2, UG4 number 3, Kid Boo number 4, Omega Shenron number 5. Swappable if you want. Even Triku number 6 here could be placed in that 4, 5, 6. If you want to have them all tied 4, 5, 6, I would say that's perfectly fine as well. You could have that. I'd be like, oh, okay, no problem. You can put whoever the hell you want in 4, 5, 6. Do your thing. Triku, though, again, I am much more inclined to put him higher right now, but again, I'll keep him where it is. This was what I thought when thinking this through. SV number 7, Garlic number 8, Baby number 9, Evil Boo number 10, and honorable mentions being Ultra Broly number 11, Cacao number 12, and Ultra Golden Frieza at number 13. What do I think of my top 10 / top 13 list of, well, the beginning of October? I'm sure we're going to get another one of these by the end of it. I'll see you guys in the next one.